I don't think it's irregular to have 28 bank accounts. You know, I heard this story about, or this comment about the number of bank accounts that are out there. And the truth is that I think it's really detracting from what the real substance of the argument should be. I don't think that the number of bank accounts is something that we really should focus on, because it really has no substance behind it. I'm trying to understand what is the investigation around the number of bank accounts. What are you going to achieve with that?
Boy, I'm have a laugh, Jaja. Okay, there's so much to unpack, but I'm just going to make this quick and fast. Quick and fast. Now, first things first, Dennis Chung, as you all know, has been selected as the new head of the FID. That's caused obviously controversy, which resulted in demonstrations in Jamaica, Hero Circle. We understand the reasons behind it, but we're just going to go through a few things because let's just jump into it, bruh.
I don't think it's irregular to have 28 bank accounts. In fact, I can tell you, my experience is that if you go into several private sector businesses, you'll find that they have a multitude of bank accounts. Some of them inactive, some of them they're using, but people own bank accounts for specific purposes. So it's not unusual for people to do multiple activities. If you're doing multiple activities, then obviously, one of the ways I find that people, especially non-accountants, try to reconcile their business.
You hear that condescending tone? Continue.
Is by having payments through different cash bank accounts. Accountants, for example, might have one account and then you reconcile and adjust between. But many people, it's not unusual for them to do that. So, I heard this story about, or this comment about the number of bank accounts that are out there.
It's not a story. It's a publicized official report by the Integrity Commission of the 28 bank accounts. That's a fact. It's not a story, sir.
And the truth is that I think it's really detracting from what the real substance of the argument should be.
No, it's not. It's actually quite legitimate to the entire argument when you take into context that the Prime Minister, Andrew Holness, has not declared his statutory income for several years now, to date. Okay? And that they have not tabled the illicit 8, and that he's got 28 bank accounts, of which back then, at the time when they were created, according to this integrity report, the banks in question didn't require proof of identification and they didn't require proof of where the source of funds coming from. But hey, Dennis Chung, continue.
Which is, what is it that is going through the bank accounts and how much money is in there? Because if I have 28 bank accounts, for example, and I could have $2 million between them. Someone could have two bank accounts and have $500 million between two bank accounts, and that is a greater problem than my 28. So I don't think that the number of bank accounts is something that we really should focus on, because it really has no substance behind it. In fact, there are sometimes...
Did he say we shouldn't focus on the number of bank accounts because it has no substance behind it? So tell me something. If the Integrity Commission, let's say, hypothetically, they have suspicions of money laundering, one of the key factors of money laundering is something called layering, in which several bank accounts is used. Okay? Now, when you put that in context with all the other situations and letters and correspondence that's been going back and forth between the Prime Minister and his team and the Integrity Commission, and when I say his team, I mean his legal team, and the Integrity Commission, then you see the legitimate concerns of suspicions. Nobody has publicly accused the Prime Minister of any money laundering. No one has publicly accused the Prime Minister of being one of the illicit 8. Nobody accused the Prime Minister of any sort of financial wrongdoings. But the integrity reports have highlighted some questions, and that's what that is. Okay? And that's legitimate.
Also, when you go and do specific transactions with certain institutions, and they themselves will...
At this point now, he's just waffling on, because the main crux of the matter is already said. So I'm just going to play this out just to be fair to him. I have the video, but I just decided to do it this way rather than play the video.
Mandate that you open separate accounts. So therefore, it isn't sometimes
He's
it's not
laughing,
because
it's
of
so
your
funny.
own choosing why you want a new account, but they will say, listen, in order for you to do this product, right, or for you to do this investment or use this checking this different company, I want another account or I want two accounts attached to it. So
Really?
you know, I hear the argument, but
You
I
don't
think that
say.
the argument is really a detraction for.
No, it's not a detraction. Stop being condescending to the Jamaican public. That is so condescending, and you're just basically trivializing a matter that is, you know, very serious, to be honest, given the position that you now hold and given the position of the Prime Minister. You're trivializing like, oh, nothing to see here, this is no big deal. Carry on.
Example, I think from what the substantial situation should be, which is really the transaction itself. And you know, I'm trying to understand what is the investigation around the number of bank accounts. What are you going to achieve with that?
Well, let me enlighten you then, since you're pretending that you're slow. Because you're an educated man, you've got qualifications in accounting. I've looked on LinkedIn and see your CV. Okay, some of the stuff you didn't put on your LinkedIn, you pick and choose what you put on your LinkedIn CV. But we understand that we get everything else from a different source. But what I'm saying to you is, since you're pretending that you don't understand, let me tell you what it is, because you're a very smart and intelligent man. I'm going to give you that. Okay? So I'm just going to assume that, you know better. Now, here's the thing. The reason why people are focusing on the 28 bank accounts is not just the 28 bank accounts, it's the amount of money that's being moved throughout the bank accounts, and the fact that at the time, the bank accounts didn't have any source of funds being declared, and the different companies or whatever that under the name of the Prime Minister and blah, blah, blah. It's all in the integrity report. Okay? Now, what this does, it arise suspicions. It's legitimate suspicions, mate. How come you don't get that? How come that doesn't compute? These are legitimate suspicions which will give rise to an investigation. And when you take into context the non-declaration of his, his income, his statutory income, and the fact that the Integrity Commission, they know who the illicit eight are. They know. Andrew Holness also know who the illicit eight are, as well as the illicit eight themselves. Them all know them name show up. Couple that with the fact that there's a gag order allegedly on the members of the JLP to not discuss the illicit eight, coupled with the fact that the Integrity Commission passed the illicit eight over to the Parliament for them to table it and speak about it. But again, the nepotism and the conflict of interest come in when you have the Prime Minister, sitting Prime Minister's wife, Juliet Holness, who is the Speaker of the House, who can pick and choose what's going to be tabled. And tabling meaning what's going to be discussed and debate in Parliament. Why isn't that being tabled until now? It's coming up to the eve of another election. How long ago did the Integrity Commission pass this over for tabling? Come on, bro. We're not stupid. Stop insulting our intelligence. But anyway, I've had enough of you. I've given the chance to talk, so that I'll be fair to you. But nothing you say makes sense. So that is that. But let's just quickly jump in some other bits and pieces I want to jump into quickly. Now, to be fair, because, as I say, I don't support political parties or politicians, I'm going to show you some slides. A lot of people show this on social media, where you can see Dennis Chung and the Prime Minister are riding, and it looks from the picture like he's got some bodyguards in the background, but they're not bodyguards from what I understand. They're just other people cycling along on this ride. Now, a lot of people use this image and tie it in and say, the closeness and, the nepotism and the conflict of interest, and understand it. But I say, to be fair, let me just show the other photos. So this is another photo, shout out to the JIS, where you can see, if I'm going from left to right, behind Dennis Chung is Ardley Shaw. Then you have Olivia Grange. Then you have Andrew Holness. Now, this brings this picture in more context, because when you look at this, it tells a slight different picture than this one. So you can obviously see here that there's some type of drive, like maybe some cycle drive or some type of expo they're doing and they're going on. And we understand there's some type of ride-along situation going on here. Another picture again you see here again with, as you can see, Dennis Chung, Olivia, and Andrew Holness. Now, you might be saying, why do you put arrows in this picture and arrows in this picture? The reason why I've done it is because not just people in Jamaica alone is viewing these photos. People abroad who does not necessarily know all the faces and names are also wants to sort of understand what's going on in these photos. So that's why I label them and put the arrows on the people that's, in the point of the debate or discussion going forwards. Okay, so let's just jump quickly now into the application, which is another point of interest. So all this is coupled why there's this demonstration and stuff. Okay, bear in mind that statement that Dennis Chung we just played, this was prior to him being selected for the role of the head of the FID. So if we go over here now, this is what we're looking at. You can see Office of the Services Commission, and what they are is they're responsible for the re-advertisement as well as the advertisement of this particular post that David Chung has filled. Now, there's a couple of things that I want to jump through quickly. The first thing is I want to go through just the first bullet point, which is here, of their key responsibilities, but I'll come back to that in a minute. But the main bone of contention is down here. Where is it? Because this application form has since been removed from the OSC or OCS website? Where is it? From the OSC's website. You can see there www.osc.gov.jm. Okay? So the bits that we want to cover quickly is this bit here: required knowledge and skills, competencies, and minimum required qualification experience. Now, the bit in contention is this bit here, where a lot of people are saying that they've allegedly changed this. This is why up the top it says re-advertisement. So when you move up to the top, you see where it says re-advertisement. You can see it there in the middle, big and bold, re-advertisement. Okay, that was published on the 23rd of January 2025. Okay, so moving on here quickly. 12 years related experience at the managerial level, 5 years of which would be at a senior management level. I'm sure he can fill that. I think before it was 12 years, whatever, but they switched that around. No, they've removed this from their website. I could also bring up the previous one, but I'm not going to bother because I've downloaded the PDFs and I have them before because I knew they were going to remove them anyway. Postgraduate degree in management, public administration, criminal justice law, or equivalent qualifications. Equivalent meaning any other qualifications or experience in that regard that is a transferable skill. Okay? Experience in enterprise risk management would be an asset. In other words, if you have experience in enterprise risk management, it's not mandatory, it's not really required, but it would be a bonus if you have it. That's basically what they're saying there, right? Now, if we move up here, where they're talking about the required skills and competencies, excellent written and verbal communication skills, sound knowledge of corporate planning procedures, excellent problem solving skills. Some people might disagree with that, enemy them. Sound knowledge of financial and budgetary framework, be knowledgeable of government and Jamaica procurement guidelines. He probably is. Expert knowledge of law enforcement, legislation, binding and agreements. He probably have that as well. I don't know. Strong resilience with an ability to withstand external pressures. If you're going to be at that level, it's going to come with a lot of pressure being the head. You have to can take it. Proven track record of accomplishments in the area of national security, public administration and finance. And probably have that as well. Knowledge of information technology. I don't know why they bother put that in because these days that's like a given. It goes without saying. Everybody needs it. Even a 5-year-old have information technology skills. So yeah, that was unnecessarily to put that in there. In-depth knowledge of legislation governing the FID's activity. Quite frankly, I don't think he has this one because you would have to be working with FID within a certain capacity to have this. This is going to be his first time in the role as the head as well. So knowledge of legislation governing the FID, not governing the government in terms of procurement and so on, because apparently he used to be the head of the football team, women's football team in Jamaica or something along that lines. But this is a different beast altogether. So I don't know if him have that. Excellent leadership and governance skills. So him enemy them again question it and say no, him not have it. But yeah, that's that. So let's just jump into this last bit up here. Key responsibilities. I'm not going to go through all of this. We don't have time for that because I have to play Andrew Holness speech where I rally people for go protest. But this first paragraph here caught my eye, which is the one I want to focus on. The irony is, in key responsibilities, it says provides policy advice to the relevant minister on all AML, CFT, and PF. I mean, what do you mean by relevant minister? I wonder who the relevant minister is. Anyway, AML, CFT, and PF matters and ensures the development and implementation of strategies and policies aimed at furthering Jamaica's fight against money laundering, terrorist financing, proliferation financing, and other financial crimes. Now, here's the boot kicker. Money laundering, I would say, given all the correspondence that went on between the Prime Minister and the Integrity Commission, it would be fair to assume that maybe they suspected the Prime Minister of some type of money laundering. They've never publicly accused him of money laundering, and they've never publicly accused him of proliferation finances. But the fact that they've referred his case to the FID for further investigation proves that they feel that they have legitimate suspicion, of money laundering, given the 28 bank accounts and the way the bank accounts, some of the bank accounts were being formed back at the time when no ID, proof of ID, and proof of source of income was required to open the account. And the proliferation would obviously be another way of like how they're amassing the amount of money they're amassing. So that's that.